Carlson hopped over so many other bigger people with bigger platforms and bigger followings and bigger names to try to shit on me and turn his little troll army on me, your homie. I couldn't believe it. And I laughed my ass off when I saw that shit. So this will be a perfect time for you actually to spark your J. Actually, maybe this is not a good time for you to spark your J because you might spit that shit out in laughter. Once you hear what this son bitch had to say about your homie. Tunde, hold on. I had it right in my brain and I motherfucking forgot it. The joint word says Tucker Carlson snitch tagged the FBI on me. That would be F2. Now, Tunde, real quick, before you play F2, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to play the clip in its entirety. So everyone, right, CJ, what the what? Yes, precisely. we're going to play the clip in its entirety. So those who have not seen it will have an opportunity to see it. And then Tunde, if we can get the split screen with me and Scrotum Face, so I can go by line of his horrible, inaccurate, devoid of fact-checking journalism, the levels of deflection, the levels of snitching. I mean, anyway, let me not give it all away too much. So gang, spark your J's. This is a funny one. Tunde, if we could please check out Tucker Shit for Brains Carlson.
Here's a clip from a show called Burn It Down with Kim Brown. You can get it on iTunes. You can watch it on any number of social media platforms, none of which has even considered censoring it. As you watch, ask yourself, how much influence should someone like this have over the country where your family lives?
For the record, I support all that. I support them looting the damn Dollar Tree. I support the looting of what other did they loot? Like the advanced auto parts. I remember last year they looted Target. I support all that. Loot all that. Do you know why? Because black people and marginalized and oppressed people could loot every store in this whole country for 200 years. It would not even come close to the debt that America owes us. Tear all that up. Tear it up. Because really, that's the language. That's the only language this country understands.
Tear it up, she says, burn it down. So how are the people in charge responding to this? Well, we're pretty sure the FBI isn't at Kim Brown's house tonight. We're confident that 60 Minutes isn't planning some extensive hit piece on her. No, those are reserved for Florida governors. In America's many newsrooms, Kim Brown is not considered a threat to anyone. She's considered an ally. Who's the threat? It's people who didn't vote for Joe Biden. They must be hounded into submission by the American news media.
I mean, am I one of the people who is going to be hounded in submission by the American news media that is Fox News and Tucker Carlson? Because I didn't vote for no fucking Joe Biden. And if Joe Biden is the kind of politician that Tucker Carlson thinks that I would support, well, it's just further proof positive that Tucker Carlson, as in typical mediocre white man fashion, has been allowed to flourish on a platform that he does not deserve. You are on a news network, sir. I mean, I guess suppose we could call Fox News news. I mean, that's a news characterization, but at the bare minimum, I would think Tucker Carlson had people over there who could Google, who could fact check, who could perhaps back up some of the information and some of the rather misinformation that he's putting out there. So Tunde, put me and Scrotum Face next together, if you could, please. This fucking milk toast mashup of men's warehouse, of Macy's menswear. Fuck out of here. I'm about to fry this nigga. Y'all get comfy. Let me see Scrotum Face there, Tunde. So play the first sentence. And when he says you can even buy it on iTunes, let's stop right there. We ready?
Here's a clip from a show called Burn It Down with Kim Brown. You can get it on iTunes.
You can't get it on iTunes, actually. First and foremostly, the show is not really available on iTunes. When we left The Real News, we did not have the iTunes permissions of the account that The Real News had set up. So as of right now, the iTunes that is associated with Burn It Down with Kim Brown, I'm going to assume has not been updated since December. But, you'd actually have to research and, investigate stuff in order to know such things. Tunde, next line, please.
You can watch it on any number of social media platforms, none of which has even considered censoring it. As you watch, ask yourself, how much influence should someone like this have over the country where your family lives?
Stop right there, Tunde. Stop it right there. Excellent question there, Tucker. I'm so glad you asked it. How much influence did someone like that have over the country in which you and your family live? Well, gang, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with this, but Tucker Carlson likes to socialize with people who are being investigated for sex trafficking and pedophilia. Now, Tucker, in typical non-self-awareness levels of delusion and arrogance, brought this particular person, Representative Matt Gaetz, onto his program so Matt Gaetz could try to explain to the world why he's not actually a sex trafficker, and outed Tucker Carlson as being someone that he is social with. He goes out to dinner with Matt Gaetz. Really? Really? Did you go out to dinner with Jeffrey Epstein too there, Tucker? Today, if we could please, can we please take a gander at F1 as Tucker Carlson is chatting with Congressman Matt Gaetz and gets outed. Now, hold on, guys. I'm reading a little bit more something into this clip because honestly, I feel as though Matt Gaetz was kind of low-key threatening Tucker Carlson, because for the fact that Tucker Carlson is telling the FBI to come to my house, meanwhile, his homeboy is being investigated by the Department of Justice. I think that was a little bit of deflection on Tucker's part, right? Because chances are birds of a feather flock together, do they not? So if an alleged sex trafficker and pedophile is hanging with somebody, perhaps you might make an assumption that somebody might also perhaps be a purveyor of sex from underage people. But you know what? Let's take a look at this conversation. Two pals, best of buds, shooting shit, chopping it up, talking about how they used to kick it and hang out. Tunde, if we could please look at F1.
And I believe we are in an era of our politics now, Tucker, where people are smeared to try to take them out of the conversation. I'm not the only person on screen right now who's been falsely accused of a terrible sex act. You were accused of something that you did not do. And so you know what this feels like. You know the pain it can bring to your family. And you know how it just puts people on defense when you're accused of something so salacious and awful.
Let's go back to the investigation. You say that it was or is underway. There was an investigation. What is the basis of that investigation? What is the allegation? That's really not very clear from these news stories.
Yeah, again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But I would like to know who. So they're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about? The New York Times.
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old.
Not had a relationship with a 17-year-old since he was 25. Come on, man. Jesus, get off his back. But again, these are the kinds of people that Tucker Carlson would say is his esteemed company, right? Congressman, titled, credentialed. But, he's being investigated for sex trafficking and having sex with underage girls. Now, I know for Tucker Carlson's audience, that's probably a high five, right? That'll earn a fella a good attaboy. And there will probably be some who will be like, well, the age of consent is 16. Well, let's ask ourselves this. Why in the hell would a grown man be interested in dealing with a teen? 17, 18, 19, doesn't matter. Matt Gaetz was grown as shit, fucking with teenagers, allegedly. But so Tunde, let's get Scrotum Face back up there if we could, please. So I want us to sort of get through where, let's fast forward my part, right? Again, the bleeps, hilarious. And I guess if Tucker Carlson is hanging out with Matt Gaetz, an alleged sex trafficker and alleged pedophile, perhaps the G-rated content is really what he's going for. So maybe the beeps make a little bit more sense. But yeah, let's sort of toggle through and, you know, my part, and let's pick it up at Tucker's just ass crackery of analysis, because my God, no wonder why there are 700 people pulling their hair out and screaming into the void over on last Tuesday's video comments, because they watched this motherfucker. So I can't almost even be mad at these motherfuckers for being so dumb and gullible and misinformed, because look at the source. Consider the source. We ready to pick back up on Tucker's little segment on me, Tunde? All right.
Tear it up. She says, burn it down. So how are the people in charge responding to this? Well, we're pretty sure the FBI isn't at Kim Brown's house tonight. We're confident that 60 Minutes isn't planning some extensive hit piece.
Let me explain something to y'all. Y'all know where I'm at, right? I don't have to repeat it. Y'all know where I'm at. Don't y'all think if the feds was trying to catch up with me, they could just hop on the metro and say what's up? And you know why the reason that the FBI is not at my house? Because they saw Tucker Carlson's little bullshit segment, took a gander over at my YouTube channel and said, she got 1,500 followers. Girl, bye. I'm pretty sure government authorities are well aware that I am not actually dangerous. Now, I know Black women speaking their honest truth to power is considered dangerous by some, mainly the ilk of Tucker Carlson, but I'm not actually dangerous. I just smoke marijuana and mind my motherfucking business. And then I get pulled in some bullshit by some bitch ass niggas like Tucker Carlson and them little bitches over at the Daily Caller. And for Tucker Carlson to say that I bet 60 Minutes isn't dreaming up a hit piece on her like they are the Florida governor. Sir, do you think me and the governor of Florida are on the same level of power, responsibility, and a level of obligation to the public? Absolutely not. My obligation is to my family and to this audience. This governor of Florida is trying to make shit okay. If I understand this correctly, he's trying to loosen the laws on molestation or something along those lines. Yeah, I guess that would be sort of on brand with Tucker Carlson and the kind of company that he seems to keep. And Tunde, if we could resume, scrotum face, please.
Honor. No, those are reserved for Florida governors. In America's many newsrooms, Kim Brown is not considered a threat to anyone. She's considered an ally.
Stop it right there. Stop it right there, my G. Oh, Tucker. Let y'all, when he's now, out of all the shit that he said, when he said this, my eyes lit up. And I'll tell you why. Because, Tunde, if we could please. Now, I know, first of all, if anybody here are fans of Last Week with John Oliver on HBO, I encourage you, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, to go and look at his episode that he did on Tucker Carlson. Rather well done. And, you know, Tucker comes from privilege, as you can imagine. That milquetoast fucking smirk says, I've never worked an hourly gig in my life. Minimum wage. What the fuck is that? What? Never even heard of it. What's that? So Tucker comes from money, but he doesn't come from a little money. Tucker comes from a lot of money. His family is of the Swanson TV dinners fame. Now, I don't know how much them Swanson TV dinners did, but I bet you Tucker didn't have to take out a loan to go to college. I bet you anytime Tucker had to go to the hospital or go to the doctor, he was not concerned whether or not he had funds enough to cover for his healthcare or for his dentistry or for his vision. So it's really interesting to hear political commentary, and especially class commentary, from a motherfucker who has never left his class, the upper class, the privileged class. I mean, Tucker, Jesus. And what did they say? Motherfucker hit a triple and was born on third and swear he hit a triple, right? White, male, and rich. Oh my God. World is his, unstoppable. World's wide open. And to give you an example of that, as Tucker Carlson just said, that many newsrooms would look at me as an ally. That is quite laughable. Tunde, if we could please, let's just take, this is very quick, y'all. F3, just to give y'all an idea of the range of different media outlets that have hired Tucker Carlson, featured him prominently, and given him his own program. Tunde, F3, please.
Now let's imagine a world where people like Nancy Pelosi and John Conyers hold the future of our nation in their hands. Here to help us ponder that terrifying probability, our old pal from Air America Radio, Rachel Maddow, joining us from New York.
Hi, Tucker.
Rachel.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
No, it's not honest. What you do is not honest. What you do is partisan hackery. And I'll tell you why I know it.
On your show, and you sniff his throne, and you're accusing us of partisan hackery?
Absolutely.
You've got to be kidding, man.
You're on CNN. The show that leads into me is puppets making crank phone calls. What is wrong with you?
Well,
Now, gang, that's Tucker Carlson collecting checks from MSNBC and CNN, and now he's on Fox News. And judging by the level of journalistic integrity or even effort that he put into that little shit piece that he did on me, calling me a Black Lives Matter activist, thankfully, this is where procrastination has worked in my favor. I have been remiss in joining an organization. So again, sir, citation needed. Where are you getting your information? You just get to make shit up because you have this wonderful, ginormous platform to which you broadcast your news program to millions of dollars who are so uncurious and unwanting to spread their base of knowledge, to just find out simple facts, which you obviously clearly do not provide. So Tucker Carlson, actually, conversely, when you say that people in newsrooms want me as an ally, Tunde, if we could please look at, I believe it's G2 and G3, those two articles. Fortunately for us, the issue of newsroom diversity, as it gets studied and surveyed pretty much annually. And year over year, what is found is that newsrooms are overwhelmingly white. And they're not just overwhelmingly white, they are overwhelmingly white and male, to the extent that Neiman Lab, Tunde, I think we got that article up there too, took the data from several of these surveys. And what Neiman Lab found is that nearly half of all newsrooms are white and male, compared to the fact that white males make up 30%, about a third of the population, right? Whereas people of color make up 40% of the population. So if your newsrooms are half white males, chances are that other half is going to be a bunch of white females and others, right? So the newsrooms remain overwhelmingly white. And as you guys have seen, there's the evidence, the small bit of evidence, because there's a lot more evidence out there of the levels of mediocrity that Tucker Carlson is when it comes to performing his job and his due diligence as a journalist. Partisan hack is what Jon Stewart called him. Later in that same interview, he called him a dick. And really, John was being oh so polite. I am not here to be so polite. But the simple fact that privileged rich fucker had the audacity to try to sick the fucking FBI on me. Let me explain something to you, Chief. The FBI come knock on my door, me and you got a problem. we got a problem, because that is white peopling at almost the highest level of white peopling you can do. Calling the police on black people minding their business is one thing. Calling the whole ass feds, oh my goodness, sir. And as I mentioned, that is a deflection, a distraction. Tucker is probably under investigation by the feds for his dealing with Matt Gaetz. Because I'm telling you, I felt as though Matt Gaetz was low-key threatening Tucker in that clip. Like, Tucker, I'm sure you'll remember my guest, right? The one we was all getting freaky with your wife. You remember her, right? You was, you was standing behind her. I mean, like, come on, bro. We see you for exactly what you are. You are below average. You have white man fluked your way up to the top. And that's the only way that somebody like you can happen is in America. Do you think newsrooms will want somebody like me? Tucker Carlson, I can assure you, in the time that you worked at MSNBC, CNN, and absolutely at Fox, you never work with somebody like me because my perspective is not welcome in American newsrooms. I can assure you that. If you are not a Republican, if you are not a Democrat, then I guess you are just some odd aberration out there. Bringing me to my last point. Tunde, scrotum face, please. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, Tunde. I'm out of control. Hey, y'all. Listen, I'm about to hit what's his name? Tucker Carlson with this last flip of the skillet, baby. We frying up troll today. I'm gonna flip his ass one more time. Meanwhile, I see there's 95 of y'all in the chat. So do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and that like button because they trying to sick the feds and the trolls on me, man. Hold me down, everybody. Hold me down, burn it down, fam. Burn it down, brigade. I need y'all to hold me down right now, man. We ready for scrotum face 2? Then let's go.
He's considered an ally. Who's the threat? It's people who didn't vote for Joe Biden. They must be hounded into submission by the American news media.
Yes, I'm sorry. And of course, again, Tucker Carlson showing that basic Google eludes him, showing that basic research apparently eludes his entire staff. Because on this channel, Burn It Down with Kim Brown, several videos have the name Joe Biden in them. And if any of these lazy, privileged hacks had even taken 10 minutes out of their schedule to prepare and research, but again, these things are not required of mediocre people. Mediocre people keep their jobs regardless of how terrible they are at them. I digress. If any of them had bothered to click on any of my videos, I said something about Joe Biden, gang, how many times do y'all think I have said, fuck Joe Biden right here at this very table? 100, 200, 500. What? Who are you talking about, Tucker Carlson? Those who did not vote for Joe Biden are drummed into obscurity or what other sort of word salad you managed to put together? Then clearly you're not talking about me because I didn't vote for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a racist. You are racist. Y'all are just racist of a different feather. Actually, of the same feather, perhaps on different birds. But I make really little distinction between Tucker Carlson's brand of racism and Joe Biden's brand of racism. But of course, conservatives are so trapped in this binary thinking, even some liberals too, that if you're not a Republican, if you're not a Democrat, then I guess you don't count. Well, data proves that otherwise. The most people in this country, registered voters, are people who are non-affiliated with the party. Democrats are hemorrhaging numbers. Republicans are hemorrhaging party membership numbers. People are sick of this two-party bullshit because it's a trap. But again, those of us who choose other, right, who choose outside of this impossible lesser of the two evils conundrum of a decision that we're posed with at the presidential level every 4 years and even locally, we scare them. The reason why Tucker Carlson picked on me, a YouTube channel of, at the time, 14 or 1,500 subscribers, because he knows that he has the privilege over me. He knows that he can summon his troll army of millions to call me every ghetto, whore, cunt, bitch, terrorist, moron, idiot. These people are rather creative. Actually, they're not creative because I've been called a cunt too many times. I'm like, y'all need a new word. Y'all need a new word, white men's, racist white men's, not my friendly white men's who support this program, but the racist white men's need a whole new word besides a C-U-N-T word, but I digress. So what's happening is Tucker Carlson is trying to shut us down, y'all. You want to talk about cancel culture? Tucker Carlson can't name a person in his sphere who has been impacted by cancel culture, right? Not one, maybe one. Let's say Jeffrey Epstein. But if that was his homeboy, again, birds of a feather says quite a lot of bit about Tucker Carlson. But people like me get canceled all the fucking time. People like me get canceled before you ever even get a chance to hear of us. And that is exactly what Tucker Carlson is trying to do, trying to wield his big bully pulpit against little old me, which again is very telling because there are a lot of people with higher profiles, higher platforms, higher follower counts who would love to engage in a fight with Tucker Carlson. But apparently, he doesn't want it with them. He wants it with me. He wants the feds to come to my house. He wants his troll army to report my videos for terrorism. Nigga, as if his whole audience is junior terrorists. His whole audience is full of people who support the actions on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. And if they weren't so racist, perhaps they could understand that maybe we could find some common ground. Because I'm going to tell you this real quick. When I was watching the events of January 6th, it was almost like it was New Year's Eve, baby. I said, how are my enemies fighting each other? Isn't this glorious? The white supremacist racists, Trump supporters versus the police, and they beating the shit out of each other. I'm rooting for everybody to win, right? Fuck him up. Yeah, fuck him up too. I'm rooting for everybody to win on January 6th, okay? And what's ironic to me is that Tucker Carlson will not have a crossword for those people, but will try to call someone like me a terrorist, right?